If you're like me, you know MLM is an amazing opportunity to grow a real asset for yourself. But you also see that there's huge issues starting to emerge. Like, why haven't big MLMs let tactics change in over 30 years? Or why have they been cutting commissions smaller and smaller? Or even, how dumb is it that old MLM rules say you'll get in trouble when you use the internet to grow your team? These are some of the blaring questions we all face today. This podcast will show you how real MLMers like us are waging war on the old dying methods. And we aren't cheating by only bugging uninterested family and friends. Follow this podcast while I expose the shocking methods I'm using to build my 10,000 person downline and get people begging to join my team daily. Here's to the new tactics without all those old, rusty MLM shackles. My name is Steve Larsen, and welcome to Secret MLM Hacks Radio. I'm very excited to be here today and bring on and share with you guys a guest, one of my good friends, and we actually have a partner in a product together that you guys might not know about. And so I thought it'd be cool to bring the genius behind the product itself on the show and tell you guys about it, about why it's been so awesome. Frankly, I'll tell you guys right now before I introduce him. You guys can see him obviously if you're on YouTube, but I just want you guys to know, like he is one of the most sought after chatbot builders that I know of, and even amongst the ClickFunnels Inner Circle and other areas, like Nico is one that is consistently mentioned and pointed back to, and so this is actually a real treat you guys have being able to have him on the show here. So without further ado, everybody please welcome Mr. Nico Moreno. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great, Steve. Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and really honored and excited.
Yeah, totally, man. This is awesome, and thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely.
I can't remember how it was we got connected. Somebody said...
I remember.
Do you? Okay, yeah. Then you tell the story.
Well, I remember the first time we talked. I remember the first time we spoke in person. It was at Funnel Hacking Live 2 years ago in Dallas. Yeah. And I signed up for the FHAT event.
Yeah, the FAT event.
The FAT event. Yeah. And I was asking you about it. I was like, I don't know if this is right for me. And you were like, well, here's all the things to consider. And yeah, that was the first time we spoke in person. Other than that, I'm not sure if we were connected before or after, on Facebook, but
yeah. I started thinking about ways I could use chatbots for webinars and things like that on the internet and more things in the MLM space. And I can't even remember who it was, but it was somebody in Russell's Inner Circle that was like, oh my gosh, you have got to see this guy. His name's Nico. And I started looking through your stuff and I was like, this guy's as psycho about chatbots as I am about funnels. And I love that. I was like, I need to get connected with this because this is so crazy. So I don't remember how it happened. From there, I really don't. But I reached out and, anyway, I was just excited that you had said yes. And so for anyone who doesn't know, Nico went in and he created, he's one of the best sought after chatbot builders. He created really cool chatbot sequences that are meant for the MLM space, specifically for our purposes, that kind of act like a traffic light. And so if somebody wants to have a sample of your thing, if somebody wants information or to get on the phone, it just guides them. It lets them control the conversation rather than you take it places just because you want to sell them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How did you get started building chatbots?
Yeah, so it's it's kind of an interesting story. I would say it was maybe 2 years ago, maybe 1.5, 2 years ago, that ballpark. Yeah. And I literally just saw that it was possible to add a messenger chatbot or some sort of chat message to a Facebook ad. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's new. Okay, I'll just try it out. And so I tried it out. It worked pretty well for an ad. I got some decent results. And so I was like, you know what? And then I also kind of started playing around with the software ManyChat, which is the software that I use to build chatbots. And from there, I was like, hey, you know what? These worked pretty well for my ads. I wonder if there's a way to get people to sign up for my webinar. Because at that point I had I've had a bunch of different Facebook groups throughout the years, but at that point I had a decent sized Facebook group, and I was like, hey, what if I invited people to a webinar, but I had them register by clicking on my chatbot link instead of with email? And so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to test that. It was partly because I was lazy. I didn't want to set up the email sequence. And I just I also wanted to just experiment and see if it worked. And so I got my chatbot link already. And I was like, hey guys, I'm doing a live webinar this Thursday. Yeah. If you want to attend, click on the chatbot link and get signed up. And it was incredible. I had I got like 40 to 50%. I can't remember the exact number. I want to say 40, 50, even 60, like something like that. It was a high number, like show up rate
Wow.
for my live webinar, which is pretty like
That's not
for
normal.
I didn't have no email, like zero email there because I didn't set them up. So literally, yeah, I got like it was in the high, it was somewhere in that range of like 40 to 60% people showed up. And like I was getting like 90+% open rates too on all the messages.
90%?
Yeah, some of them even like 100. It
That's
was
like higher than a
crazy.
text message to a friend.
I know. That's so true. Like sometimes you just don't respond to your friends, but people respond to chatbots. So yeah, that was the first time I really like I actually really got into them, and I was like, you know what? There's something really special here.
Yeah.
I know that all the people, all my friends in the funnel hacker community and ClickFunnels community, they're doing webinars too. They need to know about this because as you probably know, like what's a typical like show up rate? It's kind of like in the 20%,
Yeah,
30%,
if you're like
40%. It's really good.
good. Yeah, if it's like super
Yeah.
good, like 20%, 25%.
Yeah. So when I got like 40 or even 50% or something just from using that little chat bot, I was like, holy crap, like this is something that all my friends need to know about. So then I started kind of talking about it and showing people what I had done for that webinar to get so many people like showing up. And then also like the follow up, as a lot of you guys probably know who are listening, a big part of your webinar strategy is like the actual follow up sequence after the webinar.
Yeah.
And so because I had such incredible open rates on all those chatbot messages, I noticed, people were buying more of the offer just through the follow-up sequence. So it was pretty cool. That's kind of how I got into, I guess, building chatbots and helping other people with chatbots. It was kind of like organically, I guess.
Yeah.
I just did it for myself, and then I realized, wow, there's something really special here. And then I started sharing it with other people.
Well, yeah, because what you're doing is like so not normal. I mean,
It's
you
so
basically,
unintuitive, but it's like, but at the same time, like once you see it in action and like once you see it behind the scenes, like in your ManyChat account or something, you're like, oh, okay, like, it makes sense. It's kind of the same overall strategy, same psychology as like an email sequence for, webinar registrations, but it's that much better because it's like personalized, it's one-on-one, and it lets the prospect or the lead, whatever you want to call them, kind of like engage with your bot in a one-on-one way, and it's in like real time. It feels like a real-time conversation. So it's just like webinars on steroids.
yeah,
Is the
in
best.
little tiny sequences right inside of a platform everyone goes to.
Yeah, I know, and everybody's already there on Facebook. The cool thing too is just like the ease of transitioning people over from a Facebook ad to Facebook Messenger. It just kind of like pops up right into their Messenger inbox, as opposed to, the standard way of running Facebook ads to a webinar where you got them, Facebook ad shows up in the news feed, then they click on the link, and then it pops up like in a whole new window or a new tab.
Yeah.
And then you're getting people to enter their email over there. This way is so much more seamless, and people, you keep them on the platform that they're already on. So it's really, really powerful.
Yeah, that's powerful. You just said too. I think without having to get them off onto something else and move them to other places, like it just keep them on the same place. You got to decrease that funnel friction, I guess. So
Totally.
you and I were just chatting before we turned the recorder on, and you were mentioning how one of the biggest beliefs people have is that, well, it's technical, it's scary, it's something brand new. I got to go learn how to code, or I got to learn how to, whatever. And while you and I both know, and you guys are all going to probably figure out, like, we know that it's not super technical, but there is a strategy behind it. Like, what should somebody be thinking about when they create one for the first time?
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. And I'm glad that you brought that up too, because literally the number one question that I see, like whether it's like in my Facebook groups or like feedback, like people typing into my bot or whatever, they're literally just like, where do I get started? Like that's the number one question. They just feel so overwhelmed. They're like, it's so technical. I don't know what to do. Like, please just help me get started. And so, yeah, I think the number one place or the number one thing to realize is like the software that I use and that I recommend to absolutely everyone. It's called ManyChat. And that software does like 95% of the heavy lifting. So there's no coding. When you use that software, there's no coding. It's all drag and drop. So a lot of you guys have probably used ClickFunnels. If you're listening to Steve's podcast, it's kind of like ClickFunnels, but for bots. So like you really, there, of course, there's like the strategy and the psychology and like the marketing behind it. But as far as the tech stuff, the software does all of the hard stuff for you. So there's no coding, nothing technical. Like you'll see, you know, when you actually like get started using the software, really the only thing you have to do is like edit in the copy, like edit in the actual words, and you can add like some emojis too and like make it fun. Yeah. But other than that, like there's literally nothing to do. Like you can't do anything else. So it's super easy, super user friendly. And I would say if you block out like 5 minutes and you're like mentally like, I'm going to figure this out for just 5 minutes, like you'll be done figuring it out at the end of 5 minutes.
A whole 5?
It's really not hard. Yeah. Like you just have to, it's literally just the getting started and the logging into ManyChat and like getting yourself to do that. Like that's the only hard part. I promise.
And their pro plan is like $10 or something, isn't it? It's like super cheap.
Yeah, I always recommend people to get the pro plan. It's only $10 per month. So super affordable and absolutely worth it with some of the cool things that you can do. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
So like along those lines, like, okay, somebody says, all right, Nico and Steven, I get it, but like I'm not doing a webinar. What's some of the easiest ways someone could still use a chatbot without a whole full-blown webinar they're going to go create, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's a ton of different ways. So if you have an e-commerce store, it's a great way you can actually sell your product. You can actually sell like certain types of products. Facebook is a little bit strict about the types of products, so you got to like kind of read the articles and just be aware. But you can actually sell products like through Messenger and like actually accept payments through a Messenger bot, which is pretty darn cool. Yeah. So if you're in the e-commerce space, like definitely check that out. And obviously another probably the most relevant thing right here today is you can get people kind of on board with your MLM opportunity, whether it's a product or whether it's a business opportunity. Like, I mean, you and I were working on something a while back that actually allows people basically that allows MLMers to, get people into their flow, into their chatbot and into their world. Yeah. And answers all these specific questions. Like you were saying, it kind of works like a traffic light, guiding people in the right next steps. It's kind of like, it really takes care of that whole like prospecting process for you. So it'll send them to the right links and the right pages if they want a free sample of something. It'll also guide them to, if they want to book a phone call with you or something, like a discovery call, the chatbot will allow them to do that too. So it really can automate kind of the whole front end process of really like any online business, like coaching, consulting, digital products. It's so versatile and so powerful. Like I'm really on a mission to like get people to realize what a big opportunity they have right underneath their noses.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Guys, he's talking about a product called Chatbots for MLM. You guys go to chatbotsformlm.com. I believe that's the URL. That's where you can go and you can check out more about that. But yeah, it specifically was created by Nico to be able to go and make it so, traffic light. Hey, we all know in this industry, right, that it's not always fun to go out and just cold approach people. So instead, he has it set up in a way where when people come to your pages, when people come to your on Facebook and they're already active, you can very softly pitch your people and start steering them to the places that they would already choose to go without you saying, how about you come this way? And they're like, no, I want to go this way, which is awesome. What's the easiest way for somebody to get started with this, though? Like, should somebody start by selling a product or generating the phone call? Or, is there patterns you've seen that cause success the fastest with whatever you lead with? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say the quickest win is, of course, it's going to depend on like what your specific offer is or what your product is. Right. But I would say, if you need to have a phone call in order to sell your product, like that's going to be different than, just having a ready to go buy now button. Yeah. But general strategy that works for chatbots is to get people into your chatbot, opted into your chatbot, step one, with a free lead magnet, an enticing lead magnet. That's basically going to, similar strategy that you would use for any sales funnel. So you want to be able to, get people opted in, right? And then once they're there, you can still deliver that lead magnet through the chatbot, just like you would with any email provider.
Yeah.
So you can do that, and then you can kind of quickly just follow up with another message that will only send after they've, received the lead magnet. And then you can say, hey, like, I've got, this other way that I can help you even more. Are you interested to hear about it? And you can have like a yes or a no button. And that's really cool because right there, like, if they say yes, they're basically giving you permission to, well, not necessarily pitch them yet, but to tell them more about your product and about your offer. And if they say no, then if they say no, they don't feel like they're getting spammed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And they're choosing that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's why it's so powerful. With email, you're just like, they're going to get it either way.
Seriously, yeah. But, you guys listening, if you guys have been listening to this podcast at all, I talk about like there's 3 really easy levers you can pull in this space that you actually have control over. Like you don't own anything in MLM. You own nothing. And so I can upgrade the person I'm speaking with. I can upgrade the who. Or number 2, I can upgrade how I approach them and my script and my offer to them when they join me. And then number 3, the third thing I have control over, honestly, is the actual onboarding process and everything I do to train them. What's so powerful about this stuff and everything he's created is like you get to hit the first 2 with just a chatbot. I mean, you're not even doing anything. You're upgrading the who because they want it instead of you begging them. And then number 2, you're upgrading how you approach that person and setting the stage before you ever try to go recruit somebody or sell them your product. That's so powerful, and it's automated. It's ridiculous.
I know, it's automated. Like when you're doing this in person, there's a limit to how many you can do, like, per day without losing your mind and without losing extra interested sales or interested prospects.
Yeah.
But the chatbot can do it. I mean, theoretically, as many leads as you have coming in, the chatbot can handle it like all around the clock.
Yeah.
So you never miss an opportunity.
No, totally, man. Well, I appreciate you being on here. And just jump in real
absolutely.
quick. Where can people learn more about you and like hook up with you? Like, let's say someone wants to come and actually hire you to come do this for them. Where should they reach out?
Yeah, so the best place to get in touch with me is I'm pretty active on Facebook, so you can find me on Facebook. You can just search Nico Moreno. And another good place to reach out to me is nicomoreno.org.
nicomoreno.org. Cool.
Yeah, dude. So you'll just be able to find me there. And yeah, look forward to also nicomoreno.org/chatbots. I'm going to have all my chatbot related stuff there. And that's going to be actually a secret page. It's not going to be available to the public. Yeah. So I'm only going to be, it's only going to be like for special opportunities like your audience, Steve. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Super cool. We'll make sure that's in the show notes, everybody, as well. So nicomoreno.org/chatbots. Sweet.
Yep.
Awesome, man. Thanks for taking the time and sharing some of your wisdom here. It's been awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate it. I'm always happy to share with your audience, always happy to work with you. And yeah, you guys, if you're listening, like just get started. All you got to do is just commit 5 minutes and you'll be golden.
All right, here's the deal. Every business thrives on cash flow and leads. And without cash flow and leads, the business dies, right? Hear me clearly. MLM is no different. You own a position in a business, which means you need a system in place for cash flow and leads to come to you and your downline. This is why I have chatbots on Facebook pitching people who are talking to me on the internet. You may have heard of chatbots for MLM before. It lets you qualify multiple leads at once. It lets you soft pitch people that you thought weren't interested. And it lets you bring in a massive amount of leads of people that have been sitting right under your nose the whole time. Go to chatbotsformlm.com to get your pre-built chatbot template now. Inside you'll get a selling template. You're also going to get a scheduler template. You also get a pre-built lead gen template. Every minute that goes by is another minute that your chatbot could be softly auto-pitching your everyday conversations on Facebook. Just go to chatbotsformlm.com to get your pre-built chatbot templates now.